Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to Midwest Dungeon Delvers. This is the first time that we are streaming not only live on Twitch, but also on Rumble. 1 second. Yes, grant permissions. While I'm doing this, it's the finale of the Fair Before the Fowl tonight. Yes, tonight. And not only that, but perhaps a session 0 for our next TTRPG thing that we're doing. You'll have to stay tuned for all of that. But let's get into tonight's episode of The Fair Before the Fowl.
March the troll with strength of stone, cave and mud his ancient home, blending ages, milk and honey, folk with brass, the mudmen's irony. Oh, the tales of night and day, grit and magic, steel and clay, guided swords, riddles be praised, our gods paths in wild arrays. It's the fair before the foul, the fair before the foul. Quiet steps on muddy land, Roman tools and elfin lore, stands between peace and war. Guide and guides on wings of green, sprites own magic, secret sheen, harbinger of twilight's call, dances through the midnight straw. Oh, the tales of night and day, grit and magic, steel and clay, guided swords, riddles be praised, our gods paths in wild arrays. It's the fair before the foul, the fair before the foul.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is tonight the finale. Our wonderful Master of Games, after a quick mic check, can you tell us where we are?
All right, mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Wonderful.
2 1 2.
All right. In the last session, lots of things went on, lots of craziness. A Sir Fowl was introduced. Along with that, the arrival of the king, plans to go to El Dorado, the arrival of the prince, a promotion for one of our players, Gaiden, has gone from a standard legionnaire to a centurion. And it was a lot of craziness going on, and yeah, we ended with the king showing up. Unannounced. You guys knew he was coming, but he came quicker than anticipated.
Yes, indeed. The king has arrived.
Yes. And so that's where we will start tonight's final session, is the king's entourage is moving towards your gate.
Quickly, open the gate.
As the gate begins to swing open, word is sent to the princess very quickly. She comes out The princess's guards also come with her. Basically, everybody in the crossroads is now present as the king's vanguard marches through the gate and takes position directly in front of all of your assembled soldiers. All in all, it's about 3 to 4 ranks of these elite soldiers in front of your soldiers, facing your soldiers, as some of the more notable entourage start coming in. Dignitaries, people who decided to join the king on this out-taking.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
And then, as you guys are, watching an enormous amount of people file into your town, you see the crown moving through the throng of the masses towards where you, the leaders of the legion, the princess, the prince, and your entourage. It's hectic.
I wish to join where my squadron, in between Thorn's people and the goblins. I want to post up and then kneel in preparation.
As all of this is going on, the sound is dying down as the marching is beginning to stop, and most of the movement is beginning to stop, and then you hear a sound that makes your heart sink to the bottom of your stomach.
Oh no.
You hear the cracking sound of rocks smacking against the walls of the cavern as Arg his trolls, who were outside practicing throwing rocks, are still throwing rocks.
Yep. Yeah, they are.
And this puts everybody on high alert immediately.
Can I try an awareness check to see if I've noticed the retinue coming in?
Go ahead and make an awareness check.
Well, of course, I am not on the side of the camp they came from, but I'm a troll, so... Would I be using any... would I be using smell or hearing?
You'd probably be using... Yeah, you'd probably be using both of them, because there's a lot of new scents on the wind and a lot of sounds.
So that will give me advantage on this check, then. I've got keen sense of smell.
Okay.
Okay. Total's gonna be 18.
You do hear an awful lot more commotion, like a lot more commotion than you're used to hearing from the camp. And you can smell different scents on the wind that you're not used to, like well-bathed individuals.
Okay, alright. Okay, yeah, okay. So, I basically am gonna gather my group, and we're going to approach, not stealthily, not obviously. I'm not sure if these are friends or foes, so we're not going in full bore, but we're not exactly sneaking up either. I'm not hearing any clanging or clashing, so I'm gonna have Megora approach invisibly.
Okay. As all of the soldiers kind of are on high alert, all of their weapons drawn now and everything like that, the king's personal guard has surrounded him as he still is pushing them forward towards Biddlesby and his children, and the leaders of the legion out here. Arg comes through the gate on the other side of the camp, and upon coming through the gate, you see just this absolutely massive retinue of people.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take a check to see if I have any idea who these people are. Shoot. What do I even make for that? History?
Let us make an insight check.
Insight. Okay, alright. That's probably the only check I could make in this situation that would not have to be rolled at disadvantage, because I would not care in the slightest about royalty. Alright. Total 18.
Yeah, you know, less that you can tell who they are, more that you can tell by the way that the princess who scares you and the prince who is kind of cool but also kind of scary, you can see their father, who is way more scary.
Okay.
And like you get that family resemblance of, that's where they get the scary from.
I'm going to gesture for my trolls to kneel, but I'm just going to sit in front of the group.
Okay. Biddlesby, you see the trolls, oddly enough, take a position of reverence of kneeling. They all kneel, as well as everyone else, when the king approaches. And Arg comes up to you and sits down next to you.
I, for one, am proud of you.
Arg looks at the king, looks at Biddlesby, looks at the king. I'm not touching that.
Neither shall I. And I go back to my head down, kneeled position.
And as the king approaches, and the trolls have invoked a response from his personal guard, but when the trolls take a knee and Arg sits down, the confusion and borderline almost hostile what would you call it, preparation is calmed down slightly. And the king approaches all of you, and he makes his greetings to the leaders of the legion. Gives his daughter a hug, gives his son a hug, all the normal things. Biddlesby, you being the lowest ranked individual here, but one of the higher privileges. He looks at you and, with a level of suspicion and he's kind of weighing you at this point, right?
Mm.
He looks down at you and says, Biddlesby, Centurion Biddlesby, I have heard a lot about you.
Hopefully, only good things, sire.
Are you raising your head to look at him?
No. In fact, I lower my head even more as I say that.
Okay. And he taps you on the shoulder and he says, rise.
I do as bidded.
As you begin to look up and stand up, you look upon him and your eyes begin to hurt
Mm.
as a warm, glowing light emanates from him that hurts you to look upon.
Mm. Squinting, I look upon him.
You see a face that is concerned at your discomfort. And as you fully rise up, you also notice the princess also has a certain level of discomfort when staring at her dad.
Mm. Oh no.
And he looks at you and he says, "We'll have a lot to talk about." And he looks down at Gaiden and goes, "Gaiden, you may also rise. I've heard equally as much about you as well."
Ah. Well, I sure hope it was all good things.
I assume you also look at the king at this point?
Yes.
As you look upon him, it also hurts, but not as bad as it hurts Biddlesby.
Hmm.
It's more of a discomforting thing. And he goes, "I have heard that you are an accomplished engineer or inventor of sorts. I look forward to seeing your creations. I've already heard tale of one of them."
Mm.
And he makes the gesture for the binoculars that you made earlier.
Ah, yes.
And then he looks over at Arg and he extends his hand. Arg, the king is giving you his hand.
Shoot, I'm gonna need a second to process that. Alright, whatever. Forearm clasp.
As you clasp his arm, he hauls you to your feet. And he goes,
That was probably the nicest anyone has ever flexed on me.
And he just goes, "A equal king should not sit or kneel before another. You should stand with pride."
Arg grins. Arg has enough pride to not kneel, but not enough pride to stop his brain. If you wanted to subjugate me, I'd be under your heel, not seated on the ground.
It is a unprecedented event that we have a new king in the lower elements, and especially one of your caliber, Arg. You are the most intelligent troll that has ever been reported. Ever recorded. And so, you are, in my esteem, granted a seat at being an equal, as this is such an unprecedented and rare event.
Truly most generous.
And he nods. You are not affected any way by the king's glowing appearance.
Did I make a tiny change to that?
Go ahead.
My character naturally has sun sensitivity.
What I mean is, Arg, you don't even notice the glowing.
Oh, okay. Alright.
As in, like, because you never partook in the ritual, and you've not been, you've not engaged in this kind of these behaviors. You are unaffected.
Mhm.
And so
Huh.
you're slightly different, Arg. But after that, you all are. Yeah. The king goes, "We shall go to the accommodations you have available to talk in private."
Right this way, sire.
As you lead yourself, the princess, the prince, all the guards, all your guards, Argon, Gaiden following. Everybody's following you, basically.
As I walk in the retinue, near the back, of course, I snap twice, and Megora appears behind me and off to the side in a guard position.
Uh huh. You do that, and the king, being nearby, because he is not directly in the front of the line, he looks over at you and he goes, "I'm impressed." And he too does a snap, and you watch as a couple of masked individuals emerge out of what seems like the shadows.
The best defense is the one the enemy doesn't see coming.
Very true. Wise king to wise king. You guys make it to the princess's, not bedroom, but the meeting room. You guys go into the meeting room, where you already see Sir Fowl sitting in a, not the head of the table position, but in a position of esteem. All of your papers are still all across the table, including the plans of the El Dorado, which was being done in the princess's chamber. As you usher everyone in, and you see the papers on the table, and you're just like, "Oh no, oh no."
I'm not going to attempt to hide them. That would be silly at this point.
Does he have diagrams of what I've been doing?
There's not that's not on the table. I think that's going to be more of a conversation piece. And so everybody comes in. Everybody, gets seated. One of the princess's guards also comes in. And as everybody's shuffling around, the king gives the guard another, goes and gives that guard a hug.
Ooh. Like he knows which guard is.
His other daughter, yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so, the sitting at the table, and, he looks over and he goes, "So, let us get down to the most pressing business. And so he looks at Tyrannus and goes, "It is time for your retirement. You've already been told of this. And so you'll be given the goblin town that was constructed by the horde that Biddlesby routed." And he goes, "You will be attached to Biddlesby and the Crossroads. you watch Tyrannus just bow his head down. He goes, you'll have all of your pension, all the things, all the details of that. And then he looks over at Crag and says, Crag, you have been an exemplar of a tribune, and I think you will make a wonderful legate. You too shall be promoted up, as well as Thorn to tribune, and another shall take your spot, Thorn, out of your centurions. They all kind of do their obeisance to him and everything wonderful like that. And as all of this, he deals with that matter. He goes, and with all of that, you've done a wonderful job, Legion. You shall be given a just reward, a little bit of time off, and return to the capital for, we will say, a month of leave before you will be sent back out. And he goes, please get the Legion ready to move out and await further orders. They get up, they leave. He then looks over at everyone else at the table, which is basically you guys, Sir Fowl, his children, and he looks at you guys and says, what have you all been up to?
In regards to what?
And he just puts his hand on the table and he goes, Biddlesby, you're not a dumb man.
I wish to know where to start, sire, not act the buffoon before you.
And he just gestures to his daughter and goes, did she rope you into... And he gestures to you, and he gestures to Gaiden. Did she rope you both into this?
No. It was one of the goblin kind who said we needed strength.
He just has that disappointed dad look. And he shakes his head at you and he goes, Biddlesby, that is not how you go about gaining strength.
In my hastiness and arrogance, I took the easy path.
He goes, yes. It's a path that's not suitable for most people. And when he says the suitable, you can see him stare at his daughter with intensity. He looks back at you and he goes, but it can't be helped that we are in a time of crisis. And the easy way is often the temptation that many fall to. However, there is a way to remove this taint from you.
What must I do, sire?
It is an unpleasant experience.
Such as all purifications.
He nods, because yes, it could potentially leave you without magic.
Permanently?
Permanently. It is not a path to be taken lightly.
I almost dare not take it then, sire, and stay sickly and tainted as I am.
And he nods, he goes, I do understand that as well. The choice has to be yours, I cannot command it. But should you desire it, I will make it available to you. And to you, Gaiden. Though for you it'll be easier to go through. It depends on how much of the taint has claimed you before you undergo the purification rituals. And he just goes, it's... And he, like, as he is about to go on, further on, he looks down at the table and notices the map to El Dorado. And he goes, what is this?
Sire, it is a map to the city of legend.
You watch as Sir Fowl puts his feet up on the table and goes, yes, Biddlesby is right on this. It is the lost city of gold. And he looks over at you, Biddlesby, with a smile, and he goes, you know, the lost city of the race that was lost to us. A city of gold.
Would it please your highness to send an expedition, a scouting?
Let's see. You begin, like, you say that, and the princess and prince both look over at you, and like you can see like the darted look of like, what?
I'm trying, like, if anything, right?
Uh-huh.
You know, he's already seen it. Like, the worst,
Right.
worst thing is trying to hide it.
Right, but you know how kids are whenever their parents catch them doing something they're not supposed to be doing.
Don't tattle, don't tattle.
Even when caught, the let's mitigate the damage done.
Yep.
And they both just like shoot you the look of like Biddlesby.
I after seeing that, I shut up.
And the king, you can see this. He was about to say, was about to go on about, what he was talking about with the taint and purification and all that. And then he goes, Biddlesby, you have a good point. An expedition to the lost city of gold to, and you see him like come out of it for a moment. And he goes, to reclaim the treasures so that the mudmen will forget about the people. It's a great way to cover up our tracks on the surface. I like the way you think, Biddlesby.
As you wish, your grace.
He looks over at Sir Fowl and goes, I assume you'll be taking a percentage, and you'll accompany them as my eyes and ears. To Fowl nodding his head. Of course. And he looks over at you, Biddlesby, with a smile, and he goes, I think Biddlesby's warming up to me nicely. Of course he would invite me on this expedition.
Of course. I wouldn't have it any other way.
And the king goes, and, Biddlesby, I'll give you a percentage of the tribute that you bring back. He goes, we'll say, between you and your companions here, you and whomever you take, all of you will get 5%.
That is most generous, sire.
He just nods. He's like, I know, it is very generous. And the princess and prince both kind of look a little upset, and he looks over and he goes, and besides, you two aren't going to be doing any of that, nor are you going on this expedition.
Oh no, I bet they're so sad.
And he goes, and besides, daughter, you have a wedding to plan.
Ooh.
It's very improper for someone to ask the hand of, the daughter of an individual without asking permission first.
I feel that gut punch.
He goes, however, the prince was acting on my behalf, so I have to accept it. And I have to admit, the hero of the frontier does make sense.
Ark would request consideration for his involvement in this reclamation project. Ark would seek to not pursue this as a companion of Biddlesby, but rather along different course.
Go on.
It occurs to Arg that Arg's domain is rather undeveloped and unestablished. Moreover, Arg's legend has not been well known amongst the people, not to mention certain, and Arg just used himself, natural issues with diplomacy amongst my people and yours. Arg believes he would most benefit from volunteering to assist in this mission as a sign of goodwill from the Troll King to the Elf King, an indication of our desire to pursue the same path as the rest of the people.
He nods and he's like, eloquently spoken. I have to accept. And he goes, but you are correct. Your realm is undeveloped and unclaimed. You need a place.
Perhaps His Highness might see fit to present a new challenge to the Troll King upon the completion of the reclamation of the City of Gold, to further prove himself. And if the land in question should be largely unusable or unpurposed.
Well, I don't want to isolate you or drive you and your people away. I want you to still be part of the people. Especially with you being able to be so eloquent and even being able to convince the others of your kind to be able to be more civilized. It would be a crime to send you all away.
Arg believes that any frontier remains a frontier for precisely as long as it is unclaimed and unbroken. And if there's one thing that trolls specialize in, it's claiming, and he grins, and breaking.
He nods. He goes, that is. I trust you on this.
But such considerations should perhaps wait until after the accomplishment of the goals in front of us.
Yes, I agree. I shall give this great consideration. I must find a good place for the trolls and the Troll King so that you feel as though you're a valued member of collective empires. Or
The Elf
collective
King
kingdoms.
is most kind.
Egos. So, we have a wedding to plan. Biddlesby, my children, we have an expedition to plan. And Gaiden, you have things to show us.
Yes.
Let us see what your mind has made and how much of a treasure you could potentially be.
Well, you've seen my binoculars. Those are fun.
I have heard reports of your binoculars. I've not actually seen them yet.
Yeah. So I've recently I looked at the binoculars that I thought they were pretty cool. Hold on, is it okay if I run off to my shop real quick and see what I have, if I have an extra pair?
He gestures, like he gives
So
you the
only
hand
just a
gesture.
I take off gently as to not make a burst.
Right.
But then
You-
once I get a
quickly.
safe distance away, I will quickly pick up my speed.
Yep. I
And
assume you
return-
go and collect all of your things.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Including your prototype that you're making? I know it's not complete yet.
Yeah, it's currently in its resemble nothing stage. So
Right, but I mean, like, it's still a proof of concept in the works.
no, I'll leave it there.
Okay. Alright, so you come back with all the things that
But I
you
will
made.
bring my drawing book.
Okay. You bring the sketchbook. And you come back in, you have, your arms are full of stuff.
Yes. Alright. I set down everything. And I'll start with what he knows about already. So I'll pull out a pair of my finest binoculars.
Uh-huh.
Let him check those out.
He looks out the window with the binoculars on. He's like, these are magnificent.
Yes. And then I don't have any made right now. But if you take your... Well, actually, let me show you this first. And I'm going to pull the crossbow off my back.
Uh-huh.
From its special sling.
Yes.
I'm gonna hand it to him and ask him how. It's very light, isn't it?
He has it, he's like, that is remarkably light in comparison to something else that would be about this size.
Yes, and you see that thing over there? Go ahead and point it at it, and then just hold the trigger down.
He points and he holds the trigger down and it fires and fires again and his eyes go wide at the second shot and it keeps firing.
Yes. I think it can hold it to, was it 6 shots?
I think so.
Yeah, that sounds manageable.
And he just, so you can see him become like, the giddy school kid of like, This is amazing. Hey, like, he's just got this big smile on his face of like, I like this. This is really good.
And are the medics still around?
The mercenary ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to call for them.
Okay. One of the guards goes and grabs the mages.
Perfect. All right. So when they get there,
They
I
both
asked-
bow, obviously.
yes.
And then, yeah. They're given the up. Let's see what's going on here.
Right. So I asked them to show us their pendants.
And they show the pendants.
So, King, if you see here, the Magi who wields them can pour their magic into it, and then later call upon that magic when they want it back.
He goes,
So,
okay. I could see how that could be very valuable, especially in a pinch.
yes. And then I have not yet confirmed, but I think the magic is long-term storable.
That would be impressive if it is able to be stored long term.
And if I had enough materials, I might even be able to make a larger version.
He goes, what kind of materials would you need?
I need platinum. Lots of platinum.
He nods, he goes, and how big can you make?
I would have to test a couple of things to make sure everything is scalable. But as far as I know, as big as I can handle.
And how big is that?
I kind of walk around for a second. And I think I might be able to make one the size of a melon.
He nods, he goes, I'll fund this for the kingdom. I'll have the materials brought to you.
And then if that works, if they could get even bigger than the one that I've designed already, then the possibilities.
He nods, he goes, exactly. And if the melon-sized one works, a generous donation to the kingdom, I assume, is what you'd be doing?
Yes, if I can get the melon-sized one to work, it could go to the kingdom. Yes, sir. Yes, sire.
Good, good, good. Glad that we understand this. And he looks over at you, Biddlesby, and he goes, you do have a remarkable ability to draw talented people to you.
I appreciate the compliment, sire.
Yes. Don't let anything happen to Gaiden.
I shall
Or
not.
And he just goes, you have good, amazing friends here. And you're not bad yourself in this regard. I can see why you can see why my children liked you and decided you would be the right choice for husband.
I appreciate your kind words, sire, and the kind words of your offspring.
And he just pats his hand towards you. He's like, they're not compliments, that's just simple truths, that's all. And he goes, but I think that is most of the business that we need to attend to, Biddlesby, Gaiden, and Arg. If I may be so inclined to spend some time with my children. Then he looks over at Sir Fowl and goes, would you also go with them so I can spend some time with my children? You all have been effectively dismissed.
All right.
yes.
I go open the door and I hold it open for everybody else.
We haven't even showed him the thing yet.
Oh, which
And I
thing?
pick up my book and I
Oh,
walk towards the door.
my bad, Gaiden.
How bright is it in the conference room?
No, it's not very bright.
So it's kind of dim?
A little bit.
Okay. Then I'm going to stand up and nod to the king and grin at him and say, perhaps one day we can talk. I'd love to share more of my secrets. And then I'm going to gesture to Megora, and both of us are going to go invisible and leave.
He nods as you go invisible and leave. He goes, it's only for a little while that I would like to spend some time with my kids without having everyone else around. It's so rare to be able to see them these days.
As
Like, he didn't even react?
Nope.
Come on.
You also got the sense that when you went invisible, started walking, his eyes did follow you.
Yeah, I figured that, but on the other hand, he could at least look a little impressed. Argus gonna sulk his way out. Nobody pouts like a troll, but that might just be the size of their lips.
lol.
And then Sir Fowl's out there. He's the last one out, and he looks at you, Biddlesby, and he goes, well, Biddlesby, it looks like we're going to be going on an adventure together.
Oh, how swell and grand.
But that's what I thought. We're on such a good wavelength here. It's like it's like we're best friends already.
That's right. The best of companions.
He was exactly like, what's a little war between our races?
I give him the, were it not for the king's protection, you would be in the dirt.
He gives you that knowing smile of like, yeah, but I am protected.
Arg is walking by invisibly when he says that. He's like, that's what Arg says all the time, but nobody listens to him.
Nice.
And I think that is a great place to, close the chapter of the Artemis Fowl series. The king spending some time with his family before re-engaging with the intrepid adventurers. And then, I can take the hat of Master of Games off and pass it ever so gently over to the Midwest.
What?
We are passing the torch of DM over to...
This guy? What? No! But
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to The Fair Before the Fowl, the season finale. It was such a blessing to have all of these wonderful people be part of it, and I cannot wait for the next season and the expedition to El Dorado. It's gonna be so much fun. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait. Now, here's the thing though. We've got about 5 minutes to get all situated into our new setup. So, ladies and gentlemen, please feast your eyes upon the new layout for our new tabletop series coming every Thursday, starting at 6:30 to 8:30. Okay, ta-da! Now I've got to adjust some things, but we've got, thankfully, both Corn and Stiltskin here, so I can get all of this set up. The reason that it's gonna be kind of a session 0, everybody, is because we're getting everything situated. Not only that, here in about 4 minutes, we should be joined by the wonderful Lex Cole, who will be introduced as a new individual hopping in every Thursday with us. What a wonderful adventurer that guy will be. But at this point in time, let me figure out where is good old Master Games pop up.
Don't worry, we had this all pre-planned beforehand. We knew exactly when we were gonna swap out. There's definitely no
improv, no yes ands happening here.
It was all pre-planned.
It feels absolutely correct that every time a DM passes on the hat, there should be fighting, and the loser's the one wearing the hat at the end. That just feels appealing.
Oh, there can be only one.
It's like
my
nose goes,
goodness.
but more aggressive and involving more dice rolls.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so now I can switch everyone's art into their new character art, ladies and gentlemen. So let me grab that. First, we shall begin with Corn. He shall receive a new image. While I am pulling up the images for everyone, go ahead and describe your physical characteristics of this new character for everybody. Starting with you, Corn, since that's the figure I'm adjusting right now.
Well, let me grab the picture of him while I am... Yep, we totally were prepared for this. Totally rehearsed. Where is it? There it is. Alright, so, Justicar is around 6-foot-ish tall human with, black hair, a little stubble around the, chin, a little tiny mustache. He's slightly above average in build, and he has a dark, piercing gaze that is got that little tinge of just zealotry, burning inside of it. Other than that, he is, he's a noble who has a couple retainers, and that's the physical description, and a little background on him.
You
Okay. Yes, wonderful. Talk for me real quick again.
Oh, yes, I am talking for you real quick while we are
Oh my goodness. Okay.
adjusting the things.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything must be adjusted. Because this is why it's a session 0, everyone. Like, I wanted to get this stuff taken care of this week before next week. Next week we should be able to hop right into the show and everything. But first, I need to get this finished. That's a little too much. God, especially with how. Okay. Corn, give me a.
Another test.
Yeah.
All right, we shall test the speaking and the animation yet again.
Okay. Okay, and then I'm just gonna have to. Oh my goodness. I don't know why it keeps moving you like that.
That is really weird.
Okay, that's not terrible, but I'll just boom. Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2. Check
That's
1,
not
2.
bad. That's not bad at all. Okay, and then I can adjust that. Edit transform.
I mean, that basically necessitates you getting either displacement or Misty Step, but beyond that, it's fine.
Okay. We are missing. Let's go. Okay. Lex Cole gave me a little message saying he's going to be a little late, helping his dad remove his bathroom vanity at the moment.
Oh.
So, one of those last minute, hey son, can you help me do this?
I need your help real quick.
Just real fast, sonny. Why does it do that to this? Okay.
You might just that's a separate element in and of itself, right? Can you just close it and reopen it and see if that fixes that?
No. It's the way the specific art pieces for him talking and him not talking are, it's a weird juxtaposition happening with it. Go ahead, talk real quick.
All right, I am going to talk again.
That is perfect. Right there is actually perfect. And I'm very thankful, and I'm just going to leave it alone.
That works.
I'm just there you are. That's okay.
20% of all projects ever end in that's perfect, and the other 80% end in okay, and we are not going to touch it or walk near it, and it's okay.
Speaking of not touching or walking near things, since you're the one talking right now, good sir, Stiltskin, the storyteller, tell us a little story about this new character you have for us, specifically their physical characteristics.
So Aldrich is actually kind of interesting physically to look at. First of all, he's not interesting to look at. He is relatively small, somewhat plain looking, honestly relatively good natured. His eyes are quite blue and piercing, right? But when it comes right down to it, he's just a 3'4", 65-pound halfling that really doesn't look like much. Vaguely tan, actually an interesting combination of scrawny and pudgy, because He doesn't have a lot of weight on him, but what little he does have is not muscle. But his eyes are definitely... He's always got this affable smile, this cheerful laugh. You know, he's sort of doing his best to just sort of fit in and be happy and all of that. But if you look him in the eye, you know that this guy is ready to prove himself enthusiastically, and he's got something that he's after.
Let me see this. Oh, goodness me. Mic check for you.
Mic check, mic check. Okay, and then check, mic check. Mic check, mic check.
Oh my goodness, why is it doing that to you? I don't understand it. I don't get it. And then I'll just move you to the boop 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 and go ahead and mic check me.
Mic check, mic check.
Okay, so what I shall do here is just do a little bit more, and we shall do boom. There you go. There you go, Aldrich.
I like that. I like that.
And then whenever you talk, you kind of stick your head out and your shoulder a little bit, and you're just kind of like, "Hey, I want to say something." And then whenever I need to hide from chat for a little bit, I can just go over here into the frame. You know, just for a little second.
Whenever we do something remarkable.
Whenever I've got to break down and laugh, I can just break down over here. All right, and then let's do our second to last individual. Hey, good Kit Nightblade, aka Shoda Ninja. Who's your new character?
My new character is named Owen McRae.
Ooh, can you describe Owen McRae?
Well, yeah. Owen McRae is 6'1". He has light brown hair and it's shaggily long. Brown eyes with a lot of things to say, and he's lean and just wears regular clothing. And he's pretty cool.
Owen McRae, right there.
Yes.
So I hope you all like the new setup. I hope you all like the new art. We will have some new music as well starting next week. But we are waiting on just one more individual.
That's nice. I gotta tell you, I was completely tricked out by the stream elements.
Oh yeah.
Characters. I thought that you had put our online handles on the bottom frame of the picture.
Oh no.
Only mine was on Owen's character. It was just the name.
Yeah, stream avatars just running back and forth along the bottom. You know, just a little thank you for everybody participating and hopping into the session 0. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for just showing up tonight. We may have a little special surprise for all of you who showed up tonight, but that only a little bit. The cool thing is, with this setup, we have the return, ladies and gentlemen, of one of our favorite elements to help with the storytelling here at Midwest Dungeon Delvers. It's definitely one of my favorite elements in terms of just versatility. I almost said usatility, like it's useful and versatile, so it's like usatility is a mix of the two. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
No, keep talking,
That's
but on a different
right,
topic.
ladies and gentlemen. It is the return of the one, the only Dungeon Alchemist. Bum bum bum. So this is how our setup's gonna look from now on, ladies and gentlemen. Throughout our tabletop shenanigans for the Six Sword Saga source code. We got one more individual that we gotta wait for. But the cool thing is that we can do just a little warm up. Oh no. You stay right there. You stay right there. Perfect. Okay, yes. Very good. And a mic check from you? Any
From
of
me,
you?
you perceive.
Yes. Wonderful.
Oh.
Yes. And then chat is also visible, hopefully, and in a pleasant placement. Can you all read the locations of the Maki Vale pretty well and see like where the color codes are?
The furthest
Yeah.
right 2 dots are just close enough to interfere with some of the colored logos in the cache. If we get too many responses, I would recommend shifting the map just a little left if that's possible, like
Yeah.
4 pixels basically. But beyond that, yeah, we could.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely do a little.
Could move the chat down next to Aldrich.
I don't want to do that simply because that is space for if we have a guest star.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yes, if whoever wants to guest star during an arc or two, whoever wants to hop in, they can hop in, and we can throw them over there to that side and that side over there. And when I point this way, it's pointing left to me.
You'll have to figure it out.
Yeah. So it's stage right is left for you all. Stage left. Okay.
Oh,
Gotta point stage left. Boom. Over that way. So, the Six Sword Saga. These characters that you are inhabiting are characters that are denizens of the Six Sword Saga simulation, as far as you're aware of.
What if you put yourself on the other side?
What do you mean yourself on the other side?
You put you in the guest spot and then leave your spot open for the guest. That way your points won't be backwards.
No.
No, they would still be backwards. They'd just be backwards on the other side.
Yeah. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Also, anybody who's tuned in to the
Dang.
live stream right now, how's the volume in terms
Yeah, so let
of
me definitely find out.
me speaking and in terms of one of the others speaking? Give me a thumbs up in the chat or a it's good or something to let us know that audio. We've got music going. We've got our dialogue going and all that other stuff, and I want to make sure that it's clear and able to be heard, because that's the most important thing.
We've got pretty good dialogue, at least as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna have to check Corns and Shoden in a second here. You are gonna want to bump your volume a little bit.
Oh, just a tad.
Yeah,
Just a
I'm gonna
tad
definitely, so I'm
bit.
gonna be muted. But if y'all could give me mic checks, I'll let y'all know how it sounds.
Oh,
Okay.
then if you could, we will talk about Lukiel, the capital,
Oh,
and
well,
Gold with a
yes.
green dot.
Oh, you wish to talk about Gold Wither?
Yes.
Is
We could talk about those.
is Gold
Let's see.
Wither where Owen's from?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what
Owen
would
and
you?
I are both. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Owen and I are both good. Give Corns just a smidge more, and yourself just about the same amount. You and him are about equal, and just a tad quiet.
Well, Corn is all the way at 200% boosted, so there is not much
All
more
right.
I can do there. And in
Until we
terms
get a
of
mic.
myself, I can do a bump in that regard, and I hope that is a little bit better. Okay, I pull that to the side.
Alright, I'm gonna hold my mic a little closer to my mouth to see if that
Ooh.
helps with the
Ooh.
volume.
Ooh,
There we go. There we go.
that is a huge boost, my friend. How about me there, Stiltskin? Am
No,
I
a smidge
better?
quiet, but you're better.
Okay.
You're a tad quiet, but the big problem right now is the background music is a little enthusiastic, and so if you're even just
Boom.
a little quiet,
Yeah, it's a bit intense, I
Yeah.
guess.
No, I get that.
Yes. All right. Yeah, just try
There
to
we
play
go.
a little bit nicer, a little bit better with that in terms of volume. This is also a brand new microphone, ladies and gentlemen. My old microphone was like no. So here's the new mic. All right. Goldwither. Let me pull up my notes about Goldwither so you know a little bit more about where your character comes from. Goldwither. It is a once fertile valley that is now struggling with its soil being rift tainted. The land has turned dry and cracked, leaving only a few stubborn farms and livestock herds. Farmers rely on Riftland alchemists to purge the soil, but their methods come usually at a great cost that pushes them out of the village, city, state, town thing. But yeah, that's the blighted fields, some call it. So, would you say that perhaps you and your grandfather, Owen, had a bit more time to study such things to, get your mind towards the physical realms and such? Owen.
Sorry, what? I didn't catch my cue in.
I had asked you if you and your grandfather spent a lot of time studying the rift-tainted soil.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. That's all.
We would have done that while fishing.
While fishing.
Yep.
Okay. The Opaline River would flow through Luke Heel down through that portion of the land. So yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. But you would go fishing upon the rivers and such. All right. Perfect. I am still waiting on one more individual. All right. All right. So, I know another person is from Thornmire. Who's from Thornmire? Oh, speak up.
Now you sounded like a crowd work comedian. Anyone here from Thornmire? Yeah, I'm from Thornmire.
Hey! I hear you get a lot of elves up in Thornmire. No, I'm kidding. No, this is why I don't do stand-up anymore, ladies and gentlemen, and why I never was good at crowd work. No, no. So Thornmire is the northernmost, at the northernmost edge of the Maki Vale. It's kind of right there at that precipice between that sea and then that like peninsula from the northern country. The golden fields have turned to rocky cliffs. It is a remote village nestled among craggy hills, acting as refuge for those who are escaping war or the law. Bum, bum, bum. So that's a little bit about the hometown of Aldrich. We will get into character backstories throughout the season as we tell the story, because we'll do like that thing where like, and this is why this is also session 0, so I can talk about how we're going to do the storytelling of the season. Each episode or session, I will be focusing more on one character or another as kind of the focal character of that session. Anyone who's read the Everworld books, they would know that throughout the series, each book has a different character's perspective. It's about the entourage as the whole story goes, but each book is a different person's perspective, taking in the whole, right? And I really enjoy that way of storytelling, so I bring that over into my Dungeons and Dragons-esque sessions and things and tabletops that I run. But that does not mean that that character is the main character of the whole story. No, it's just the focal character. Now, that also doesn't mean that you are just a passenger princess throughout the story, all right? So, throughout the descriptions of a scene, I may describe one of your characters being present and then ask you, the player, what your character is doing, and for you to describe what the focal character sees during that interaction. I may not ask what your character is thinking at that moment or feeling, and that is totally fine. Don't worry, your turn is coming. Just know it's gonna be more narrowed in, focused. We're here to tell a story and occasionally roll dice. Okay, that's kind of what we're gonna do throughout the telling of this season of Six Sword Saga. Interestingly enough, the Maki Vale is a country in the southern reaches of Galand, which is the fantasy world that is within a VR simulation program in the year 2525. This particular season, by the way, the reason that it is such a good jumping off point is because we are telling the story of how this particular game, VR experience, whatever you want to call it, how it became the corrupted files that Dandrick then uses in the first cycle, the second cycle, the third, and the fourth, and the fifth that we had taken a hiatus from to do Fair Before the Foul. Again, thank you so much, Corn's Demon, for allowing me that break. But the individual within the year 2525 uses this program as a consciousness housing for his experiments that he does during that year. So, in reality, these characters that are the like focal point or the player characters are going to be essentially the first 6 playtesters that entered the simulation. And so I'm looking forward to telling that story for all of you. And if any of the players have a question about the lore of their character, now is the time to do so.
Not so much a question about the lore of my character, but a statement, just so everybody understands. My character is basically going to be a non-combatant, just so everybody's aware. So I'm not entirely useless in combat circumstances, but I probably am going to need a lot of help keeping it alive anywhere.
Understood. Going for that Hobbit feel, you know?
Yeah, definitely useful in social circumstances. You need a bargain. I will be all over trying to get that for you. But I'm like 3'4" of scrawny pudge, so
I'm very much a combatant.
Justice Carr is like, here, let me lay down the law.
I believe we have I believe it's hammer time when it's law time. I have a gavel that's two-handed.
Two-handed gavel, and court is in session.
Yeah, you and I are gonna get along real well, Justicar, because you're all about laying down the law, and I'm all about finding the bad guys. So
That's
I see
perfect.
great things in our future.
Yes, I see great requisitioning the aid of adventurers.
All right. Wonderful. Okay, and then I've got my notes here.
Oh, by the way, I was just curious. In the
Yes.
quest, southwest of Lukiel, near the edge of the woods there,
Mm-hmm.
are there like hamlets and things, or is it unpopulated?
So the south in the woods.
Like on the edge of the woods by like where it would be open
Yeah.
plain.
Yeah, so there's different villages and hamlets that aren't on the physical map up there, but they're present, and you guys will interact with them as you guys like come across them in your travels. We are starting out in the city of Othmere, which is the northern western city, up there in the craggy lands amidst the kind of nestled right there in that coastal draft into the southern sea out there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like I'm still part of the like I want my Justicar's from Lukiel, but his family, they're like, because they're lesser nobles, they're like manor house or whatever, because it's not even a keep. It's just like a oversized house. Would be like towards the edge of the wood to that plain on the southwest. Like whatever hamlets are around there. That's
Okay.
where they would be.
All right, wonderful. Wonderful little bit of world building for you there, Justica.
Well, like, you know, he's not. Yeah, he grew up in Lukiel after a certain age.
Yes,
So.
yes. Okay. I'm just gonna do a last little check-in with the dude. All right. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and get started with our initial beginnings, and then if Lex Cole hops in, we will integrate and get him situated in his placement for Jin over there by Justica and Owen. All right.
Good evening. This is Lyris Dane reporting on behalf of the COS as we witness yet another harrowing chapter in humanity's relentless pursuit of forbidden innovation in the year 2525. In what has been dubbed the Six Sword Saga incident, 6 carefully chosen individuals from the Maxwell Federation's latest VR experiment were thrust into the full immersion simulation known as the Six Sword Saga, a digital realm where the lines between myth and machine blur. What began as a promising trial for the next generation of escapism quickly spiraled into an unsolvable tragedy. Our sources confirm that the participants heralded as pioneers of this radical technology have become permanently entrapped within the simulation.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Maki Vale, a land of wealth, war, and whispering schemes. Nestled in the southern reaches of Galand, it is a country of golden fields, fortified cities, and a ruling class whose grip tightens with every passing year. At its heart lies Lukil, the capital where trade, espionage, and magic intertwine, casting long shadows over the land's future. And to the educated or unfortunate, the Riftlands loom, where reality itself fractures, birthing eldritch horrors and forbidden knowledge. To the west of Lukil, the Opaline River carves through the lands, its mineral-rich waters glimmering under the sun, as merchants and travelers move between fortified outposts. The great noble houses, Valihart, Zedrin, Draven, Caldris, and Thevin squabble for power under the rule of King Farron and Queen Alande Duskbane, a pair of enigmatic rulers, hiding secrets, some say. Rumors still that they may be compromised by the rift itself, for they do not deign to dine in the feast halls at court anymore. Something stirs beneath the surface. Whispers of missing travelers, unnatural dreams, silent wars fought in the alleyways have begun spreading throughout the land. The common folk grow restless under the weight of heavy taxation, and in the corners of the kingdom, something watches. For now, Justicar, you find yourself battered by the rain as you pull your cloak over to stifle the cold drops from catching on your metal armor and locking in that cold towards your body. You feel that pitter-patter as you pull that cloak tighter, as you push through the streets of Othmere, on the edge of Maki Vale, where the distant worries of the king and monsters are nothing more than traveling tales. It's eerily quiet, Justicar. The harvest was plentiful, and there should be more people about. As your name suggests, you are the Justicar, a denizen of Lukil sent here to make sure that all is well, even though this outpost be out of the reach of the king and the other royal houses. You still see several members of the guard of the Maki Vale, their main barracks housed in Lukil, but you still see a few of their member amidst the streets. I just want to pull up my notes and give you the title of that's right, the Opaline Ward, named after the Opaline River. They are the city guard, as well as the militaristic arm of the ruling class. So even though their numbers are few here in Othmire, they have a presence.
You said that's the Opaline Guard?
Correct. The Opaline Ward.
Oh, Ward. Okay.
Yeah, Opaline Ward.
My bad. I'm just making sure I got the notes.
I know. I'm trying to make sure, because I've got a lot of notes. I'm sorry.
Yep, you're good.
It's also Station Zero. We're getting used to it. We are getting used to it. Thank you. It's a blessing to have all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for the Session Zero, and I hope you will be just as blessed by the telling of the stories.
And I am on the streets, you say?
Yes, you are currently pulling over your travel cloak.
Right. And I do want to make mention that a way it's known. I do have 3 retainers with me from the night background.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing it out there. I'll give you their names later.
All right, that is totally fine.
For the sake of Session Zero, we'll just pretend they don't exist at the moment.
Actually, it's better that they do exist. We'll just give them names later.
Okay.
Your first retainer, the retainer you trust the most, the one who's kind of your pack mule, your gopher, he kind of pushes up in the ranks to next to you, Justicar, and whispers in, "Right, reckon that they're hiding out, my lord. They seem to be afeard of something. I didn't see a lick of farmers out there in the fields."
Well, do me a favor and see what you can find out amongst the regular folk. I will go talk to whoever's in charge of this Othamir.
Of course, my lord.
And take the others with you.
Yes. Come, this way. We have business. All right. Wonderful. As you make your way through the streets, Justicar, you hear further down the lanes in the thoroughfare, kind of like towards the main square of this city or township, you hear a town crier begin, hear ye, good people of Othmere! By royal decree from our sovereign king and his esteemed council, all citizens are hereby commanded to observe a strict curfew. When the sun dips below the horizon, all must seek shelter until the morrow's first light, that the peace of our land may be maintained. Furthermore, every able-bodied soul is required to render service to our realm. On designated days, you are to labor on public works, mending our roads, repairing fortresses, and tending to the fields that sustain us. Let none shirk their duty, for the prosperity and order of the Maki Vale depend on the diligence of its people. So proclaim this decree and let it be known throughout Othmere. Obey, serve, and keep our land strong. You push your way down the street, and you see kind of where all the denizens have gathered. They're here in the town square hearing not only that decree, but you hear a good many afterwards, this town crier listing several rules and regulations.
I'll take a moment to listen to several of them to see if they fit the laws of the land the way that they're intended.
All right. Make an insight check for me.
All right. Insight is 19.
You see not only that some of these laws are tainted, twisted, perverted almost. Specifically the one about a harvest tithe of 15% of the yield of the field catches your attention. There is a harvest tithe, don't get me wrong, but 15%, it's a little much, especially here in Othmere.
What would you say the normal tithe would be under normal conditions?
Normal conditions, you could expect the Othmere harvest tithe to be 7 to 8%. So they've doubled their percentage.
I'll keep a mental note of that, especially to ask the leader to see if they've undergone some sort of like hard times or potential like sieges, or maybe the food stores had rotten or something, like maybe something got into them, to see if maybe they're restocking for in case bad things happen. We won't attribute malice where no malice can be found. But I do take note to the idea that some of the laws and stuff have been corrupted, and like okay, I'll investigate further to see how deep this corruption does go.
All right.
I do want to take a mental note of what the crier looks like.
Of course. You notice he's kind of a portly man, with not the most fine of refinement, but he wears a kind of in-between peasant and nobleman's doublet. Kind of like a smart-looking jerkin.
Does he have anything that would be like... If I were to describe him to the noble and be like, he's yay tall and he's got this distinguished feature upon him.
He has kind of a pockmarked nose that is a bit bulbous on the end.
Okay, I'll take that like mental image of him and be like, okay, I'm going to ask about that guy as well.
All right. You look down at the kind of rain-soaked pack that you've been carrying for a while, and you pull out a letter from Gideon, and it is your current directive to meet with Magistrate Thalen Morwind of Othmere.
I will do that.
All right. You begin looking through the kind of buildings, signage, and symbols. You see the inn. You see various shops.
Stop one of the guards. I would definitely stop one of the guards and be like, "Where's the Magister found at this time?"
All right. He, for a second that you, like, grab him by the shoulder, he, like, looks at you like he's about to, like, get at you for touching him, but then he notices your armor underneath your cloak, and he, begging your pardon, my lord, the magistrate can be found in his royal office at this time. You can find him up in the nobleman's house. Right there, down the street.
I do like the little side bow of my head and I go, "And you didn't see me?"
Of course, sir. and
And
he
spin and
continues
move.
on his patrol.
Yep.
As you make your way to the nobleman's house, you see this rather down on his luck looking beggar. He holds out a hand towards you, but he's missing his ring and pinky finger.
Is that a normal punishment?
Alms, sir.
Is it a normal punishment for somebody to lose their fingers?
Not typically. The theft of an item typically is a loss of a hand, not individual digits. They would rather leave you permanently without the like. They're not so cruel as to leave you phantom fingers. They'll give you a phantom hand.
Okay. I look down at him. I stand up.
He begins to stand. You notice he's as he stands, he puts his injured hand on his knee to like straighten himself up and stand, but his good hand goes to his side. Almost like there's a wound there that festered, and he can't quite bend right as he stands.
What ails you?
Oh, sir, just my own foolishness. Be sure to adhere to the curfew, my lord. The chimeric echoes. They are everywhere. In the night, the shadow.
And what foolishness did you engage in?
I thought it strange directive. New curfew. I turned to my fellow and I said to him, "The vampires, they've come to take our places, and we are to stay indoors at night, lest we find out what stalks the night." And I told my companion and made in secret to do conspiracy, sire. And my lord, I must confess, I ducked low in a shadow and beheld a puppy, and I thought it rather strange to see a puppy in the shadow outside of town, especially at night. And then I beheld a third eye upon its chin, and its maw did open in a strange way, and it did bite and take my fingers, sir.
As he finishes, I reach out my hand with 3 copper pieces. I deposit it in his hand, and I give him a single hit point of lay on hands to heal any injuries that he might have.
He kind of like eases up on the like festered rib where the strange god's tendril pierced my side. It's why? Be you of the healing magics?
I be of no particular consequence, but do find a gentleman, and I describe to him one of my retainers. He should be found in the square there. He will give you the same amount of alms as long as you can give him all of the details you have told me and more.
Of course, sir. And be careful. Not every one of the Opaline ward is as they seem.
I'd nod and keep walking.
All right. As you keep going towards the nobleman's house, you turn and as you round the corner, you bump into a individual who seemed to be enamored with a stone in his hand. Owen, would you like to describe what you do after being bumped by a heavily armored individual? If you're there, Owen. Please be there, Owen.
Owen? Kit?
I did all that build-up for you, Owen. Oh, if this is going to be indicative of the Six Sword Saga source code, what does that mean? Oh. Ooh, what does that mean? Ah, my heart.
Instead of Owen, it was the little one?
Instead of Owen, it was the little one, having a sack in his hand that he was rummaging through before trying to put it in his beltings again. Aldrich, go ahead and describe your reaction to being bumped by a heavily armored individual.
So, quick question. You're 6-something. About how much you weigh?
Probably close to 175-ish pounds. 175.
And how quickly were you moving?
Not super fast, but at a basic march speed.
Yeah, so Aldrich, this little halfling guy, gets knocked straight back onto his rear. And he's sitting there with the bag in hand, and he looks up and he just sees this big guy standing over him. Good evening, my lord. I seem to have run into you by accident. Many apologies.
I apologize, little one. And I reach my hand out to pick you up.
Much obliged, sir. Much obliged. I must admit I'm all out of sorts. Just got into town and hefting the sack. It seems that my belongings were a bit less than I expected them to be after that last visit, but such is the way of things. What is a big fella like you doing in this neck of the woods?
Have you been robbed, sir?
No. Just my payment wasn't quite as hefty as I thought. Well, I mean, not recently.
I give you a big warm smile, and I'm like, I do understand these are trying times.
Aye. You wouldn't happen to, do I recognize the armor as related to an authority
Justicar?
figure? Yeah.
Give me a history check.
Given my background, I would assume that I would have some degree of... As a 4.
A 4. You, much like most of the people of Thornmire, do not differentiate the armored ones from one another's ranks. It's more so they're a collective, I should probably avoid these people.
As it just so happens, I do appreciate your assistance, but given the weather, I think it'd probably be a good idea if I find a place to rest for the evening. So I'll be bidding you a good evening, sir.
Well, don't be so hasty. No harm's ever come from a casual conversation, even in... As I look up at the sky and, like, the water pelts my face, and I go, inclement weather. These conversations can be elucidating to the nature that we find ourselves in.
Granted, but one such as I, so poorly equipped to handle the weather in this situation, not to mention the fact that my last dwelling place, he gestures to a wagon that can just be seen turning a long way down the street, is heading that way. I rather think it would be a good idea for me to seek out, unless there's anything in particular I can do for you, worthy noble.
Well, are you from these parts?
Oh, no. I come from a fair bit, and I do mean a fair bit to the north.
Have you been here long?
Just got off the wagon today. Actually rolled in about 2-3 hours ago, and most of that time was spent, paying taxes and making deliveries and what have you.
I do understand. I do understand. What is your trade?
Well, now that's a rather interesting question, it must be said. Unfortunately, I'm somewhat disgraced from my formal profession. I was an investigator by trade, but it turns out I spent too much time searching the outside of my house and not enough in. And as such, found myself rather between jobs.
Well, that is unfortunate, but most interesting to hear. You have. How would you feel about being offered a job?
I must admit, most people who pursued to employ me after being made aware of my history were of a sort where we shared certain philosophical differences. And I much believe it'd be better for me to pursue a more humble form of employment.
Nonsense. An investigator is precisely what I require in these lands. You will be able to see things I might overlook on accident.
And what, pray tell, is your profession? Besides being large and intimidating. Haha.
I kneel down and I go, well, aside from being large and intimidating, I bring the illumination of finding the balance and the order in this world, and helping others find order and justice.
You are an enforcer of law and order?
Of sorts.
You know, I'm not much of a fighter, being rather a bit, as you might be able to tell, on the small side. But I would be interested in working with you. Just understand, the last person who offered me such a position ended up being unworthy of my assistance. And if I find you similar, well, the last person who I found was unworthy of it caught me by surprise. You, however, will not have that opportunity. You understand?
Well, I find I will be catching you by surprise many a times. Because your job starts now.
We shall see.
We
What
are going to go
can I help you with?
We're going to go investigate the Magister. The laws of this land have already been corrupted, and so we need to see how deep this corruption runs.
An
You are
almost manic grin forms on Aldrich's face. You tell me the authorities of this town are less than honorable?
I don't know about honorable. I just know that and I gesture to, I look over my shoulder towards the town center. I go, the crier was saying the laws, and the laws are not what they should be. Beyond that, a slightly insane or deranged individual asking for alms gave a quite fanciful tale. One that makes me believe that corruption runs deep here.
Well, now, you I don't trust very much. But the pursuit of the corrupt is my favored calling. I'd be delighted to, at the very least, have a bit of assistance in the pursuit.
Well, I have to keep some secrets, but let's just say this is a trial run of how valuable I will find you, and should you prove to be a valuable asset, I will entrust you with more and more information.
In that case,
As you
lead on.
go to stand up, Justicar, you are almost toppled over by a individual rushing with a glowing stone. Owen, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Would you?
Huzzah!
I've been here for about 15 seconds.
Would you like to describe your reaction to tripping over an individual you didn't notice along the way through Othmere towards your workshop that you've kind of ramshackled in town?
Tripping over somebody in the city, or
Yeah. You are currently like rushing with a rift-tainted mineral towards your workshop, and you begin to topple and catch the stone, and then you right yourself and you turn and you look and you see Justicar there, the heavily armored individual with long flowing dark locks and a stubbly beard.
huh?
And Aldrich is also present. They looked like they were hunkered down talking about something, and that's why you didn't notice them. They were crouched low. So, would you like to go ahead and describe your reaction to stumbling into them?
I come around the corner and I've got the crystal in my hand. I feel an expeditious bump on my knee, causing me to lose my footing. I pivot on my heel, and I start to lose the crystal, but I'm able to dive down to the ground at the last second and catch it.
All right.
I start to stand up angrily as
I
I
do begin
ask
to
them if
arise
they've known what just happened or what they could have done.
I assume I'm like knocked almost like face first into the mud.
Yeah. You catch yourself, but like your hand is still wrapped in your cloak, so your cloak goes into the mud.
Wouldn't he be almost knocked straight into me since he was right in front of me?
Well, he was raising to stand up. That's why he like was a little out of just dominoing into you.
So he got knocked to the side instead of knocked straight forward. Got it.
Yeah.
With my cloak being all muddy, I just pull the cloak off, and I'm like, I just stand up angrily and look to who just bumped me.
Owen, you see an individual who is armored and clad in more refinement than the opaline ward of the city.
Oh. Well, I don't want to piss off the local authorities, so I'm going to help him back to his feet.
I take a moment and I just do the breathe. I'm like, okay, I bumped into someone else. I can't be upset that someone bumped into me at this moment.
That won't do it all. I reach out and I reach out and touch the cloak and cast Prestidigitate, cleaning the mud off of it.
Wonderful.
Such a nice cloak. Shouldn't be taken care of so badly.
I immediately fling it back over, and I'm like, thank you very much. And
Certainly.
did I notice the stone that he caught, or no? Actually, I don't think I would have noticed it. Being knocked forward, I don't think I would have noticed it.
Aldrich, give me a perception.
Perception. There we are. 17.
You notice a very shiny stone fly from the individual's hand who bumped into your new employer. He was rather quick to catch it and retrieve it and bring it back to himself. And you, having your talents and so recently casting a spell as well, you feel the connection between the Riftlands, the source of magic, where you derive your power from, and the stone resonate.
What did he do with the stone when he caught it?
Oh, and what did you do with the stone after you caught it?
I continued holding it.
Ah.
Open
you've-
hand or closed?
Open hand or close hand? Are you trying to hide the stone or not? Is the question.
I don't know. It's just a weird stone that I'm taking back to my lab.
Are you just holding it in your hand, like with your palm open? It's resting in the palm of your hand. Is that accurate?
No, I'm just holding it
Okay, so your
Close
fingers are
like you
closed.
would a hot
now.
dog,
Right.
like a cold hot dog that you've just taken out of the package. You know, just your fingertips.
Ah,
Oh, okay. All right. So you're not holding it very firmly. All right. All right. So I wave at him with my left hand. When I do that, I cast Prestidigitation to make it sparkle. You know, cheery waving, right?
Okay.
And
yeah.
with my right hand, I'm going to cast Mage Hand to try and pluck it from his fingers without him noticing while I distract him.
Jesus
I
Christ!
assume that would be a sleight of hand check, right?
Yes, it would be a sleight of hand.
Dirty 20.
Make a perception check there, Owen.
might I also make that?
Yes.
Okay. I got a 14.
14.
Perception check.
Yes.
Well, spent all the time doing the math, and it's a natural 20.
I love that. I love that.
Love it.
So yeah, you you notice sparkles in front of you. And you're like, there's always a catch. There's always a trick. There's always a little thing with
Yeah,
this.
this is some stuff my grandpa used to do.
Yeah. And so you instantly look to the hand that is holding the stone very loosely, and you see this like arcane hand like come into existence and like reach around and like try and like start to pluck at the stone.
I jerk my hand away from it.
And you pull back. Justicar. You see your new employee and the person who bumped into you are kind of like at each other.
No. As soon as I fail, I'm 100% gonna act like nothing happened.
I'm pretty sure Owen's staring at you though.
Oh yeah, no, he's staring at me. I'm just looking off into the middle distance.
Love that.
Silly vagrants. I just walk off back towards my shop.
All right. You begin to head back towards your shop, Owen. And as you do so, there is a cackling of energy in the air. A shimmering effect takes place near the edge of the stone that you are not holding. Almost like a geyser is breaking forth from the stone. So like it goes like cracks open and a rush of air begins to flow out of the stone. What do you do, Owen?
I'm gonna throw it down to the ground.
You throw it down to the ground. There is kind of this crystallization effect that happens that like splits open the air in between all of you. I want you all to make a wisdom saving throw.
Seven.
Okay.
Also a 7.
Okay.
I got a 24.
Good. Owen.
Don't worry, I took all your guys' extra that you needed.
Owen. Aldrich. Rift-tainted things are not to be trifled with. This much you both know from legends of when you were children, of the Riftlands and the terrible monsters and things that can come from there. Owen, because of your interactions with the degradation of Goldwither, and seeing how the Riftlands can destroy a community, you begin to become entirely afraid that you have just unleashed a second plague upon a new part of the country. Aldrich, you are starting to believe that perhaps the stone in your magic might have caused a Riftland tear, and you begin to fear what may come out. Justicar. It sure is a Riftland tear. Something is coming through. But it does not look monstrous. 'Tis humanoid in shape. And you notice the elongated, almost elf-like ears.
I would immediately whip the cloak off and pull out the greatsword
Okay.
and just level the greatsword at whatever's like the elf thing coming through.
All right. You level it towards the crystalline tear as it begins to scatter throughout the air, continuing to crack and crackle. As it widens even more, you see the elf kind of like look towards you, and then something shoves him forward, and he is thrust out of the portal and into the material plane.
As soon as he hits the material plane, kneel.
As you say, kneel. That is where we are going to end tonight's session 0, and we will pick up session 1 next week, April 3rd, the beginning of the Six Sword Saga source code.
Good evening. This is Lyris Dane reporting on behalf of the COS as we witness yet another harrowing chapter in humanity's relentless pursuit of forbidden innovation in the year 2525. In what has been dubbed the Six Sword Saga incident, 6 carefully chosen individuals from the Maxwell Federation's latest VR experiment were thrust into the full immersion simulation known as the Six Sword Saga, a digital realm where the lines between myth and machine blur. What began as a promising trial for the next generation of escapism quickly spiraled into an unsolvable tragedy. Our sources confirm that the participants heralded as pioneers of this radical technology have become permanently entrapped within the simulation.
La, la, la.